Hi and welcome to the 5-Minute Business Boost, where you get to choose your 5-minute investment. I'm your host, Sam Hicks, and I'll be discussing topics under the headings of business development, marketing, photography, and much more.
Welcome to this week's 5-Minute Business Boost. Today we're talking about the tipping point, what retail giants can teach us as small business owners. Because change doesn't usually happen all at once. It creeps in slowly and then suddenly it's everywhere. This week's episode was sparked by some commentary from Australian investor Scott Phillips about the pressure facing retailers like Barbecues Galore and Lincraft. And while these are big retail names, the lesson isn't just for big business. It matters just as much for small business owners too, because when customer behaviour changes, when technology changes, how people buy, when business models stop matching what people want, the warning signs are usually there well before the full impact hits. At first, stories like this can feel really distant, and you might think, well, what does a fabric chain or a barbecue retailer have to do with a cafe, a tradie, tourism operator, an artist, a consultant, or a local shop? And the answer is quite a lot, because this really isn't about fabric or barbecues. It's about recognising change before the market forces you to. And that's something every business owner needs to pay attention to. So your customers or your clients are telling you something. One of the biggest mistakes businesses make is assuming they already know what customers want. But customers tell us all the time. And usually it's not always in words. It's usually in behaviour. Because every purchase is a vote, every booking is a vote, and every inquiry is also a vote. For years, a lot of retailers try to get people back into stores, but customers were already moving in a different direction. They wanted convenience, they wanted delivery, they wanted click and collect, and they wanted online options. And that same pattern is showing up in small business too. Are people calling less and messaging more? Are they booking online or after hours? Are they doing more research before they contact you? And are they choosing convenience over tradition? Because these observed behaviours matter. They are telling you where your business may need to go next. Now, small drops still hurt. Another lesson from retail is that businesses do not need to lose half their customers to get into trouble. Sometimes a relatively small decline is enough. Why? Because costs don't fall as nearly as fast as revenue does. The rent stays, insurance stays, electricity still gets billed, software subscriptions still keep running, and wages don't magically shrink because sales are shrinking. And many businesses are operating on pretty tight margins to begin with. So if a cafe loses a few customers a day, or a retailer loses a few sales a week, or a consultant loses one major client, it may not feel catastrophic in the moment. But these small losses add up, and they will. And this is why it's really important to watch trends, not just today's results, because small changes often point to something much bigger shifting. And it might be already underway. Now, technology is changing everything, and this just isn't the retail story. Technology is reshaping almost every industry. We're seeing online bookings replace reception desks. AI is taking on more admin and customer service tasks. Digital ordering systems are speeding things up. Remote consulting is replacing some face-to-face meetings. I know, I do it. I can see more people, and I don't have to worry about the tyranny of distance or the fuel costs. Online learning is competing with traditional training. There is still a mix out there though, because I know my workshops online are hugely popular, and that's why I still keep doing what I'm doing. But this doesn't mean every business has to become a tech business, but it does mean technology is changing what customers expect. So the real question is not whether technology will affect your industry, it's how you're going to respond when it does. Temporary problems, permanent change. So one of the most valuable skills in a business is knowing the difference between a temporary setback and a structural shift. A wet season is temporary. A bad trading month can be temporary. A short-term slowdown can be temporary. But some changes are more permanent. Look what happened to video rental stores, travel agencies, printed newspapers and DVD retailers. The businesses that survived weren't the ones waiting for everything to go back to normal. They were the ones that adapted. They evolved. They found new ways to serve customers. And the businesses that struggled were often the ones hoping the old version of the market will somehow return. Sometimes it doesn't. So you need to build in flexibility. And it's one of the smartest things any business can do is to build flexibility into the model, because flexibility creates resilience. Ask yourself a few questions. If Facebook disappeared tomorrow, how would your customers find you? If your storefront had to close for a week, could you still sell items? And if your biggest customer left, what would happen? If a new competitor showed up, how exposed would you be? So strong businesses usually don't rely on just one source of customers, one source of revenue, or one way of marketing. They build options, they diversify, and they make it easier to adjust when things change. So in reality, that doesn't mean chasing every new trend. It means giving yourself as a business owner room to move. So what is the big opportunity for regional business? And for regional businesses, this can be seen as an opportunity because technology has removed a lot of the old barriers between city and country. You know, a small business in Alexandra, Mansfield, Yea, Marysville, anywhere else in regional Australia can now reach customers well beyond its local area. You know, a consultant can work with clients interstate, as I do. A maker can sell products nationally. A tourism operator can market directly to visitors, and a photographer can build an audience far beyond their own town. So the businesses that are embracing that are often outperforming the ones that are still relying only on traditional methods. So the future belongs to businesses that combine human relationships with digital convenience, not one or the other. It needs to be both. So what is the takeaway? Wayne Gretzky famously said, "I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it's been." And I suppose that's really the lesson here. Whether you're a retailer, a tradie, cafe owner, consultant, farmer, artist, tourism operator, your customers are constantly telling you where they're heading. And the businesses that thrive won't necessarily be the biggest. They'll be the ones that are paying attention. They're reading the room. They're the ones willing to make small adjustments before those adjustments become urgent. The ones willing to evolve while they still have choices, because markets change, technology changes, and customer expectations change. And sometimes the best business lessons come from watching what happens to companies so much bigger than I own, and I love that. So thanks to Scott Phillips for sparking today's thinking, because sometimes the most valuable lessons for us small business owners don't come from our own businesses or our own sector. They come from watching the giants and asking what we can learn before the same challenges arrive at our own front door. So the question is really simple today. Are you skating to where the puck is going, or are you still standing where it used to be? Until next time, cheerio.
Thanks for listening to the 5-Minute Business Boost. For more information, follow me on socials, sign up for my newsie, or check out my website to see how we can work together to reach your small business goals. Remember, anything is possible, especially in the northeast of Victoria. Until next time, cheerio.